Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing? How's that music sound? Is it too loud? Is it good? Let me know if I need to turn it up a little bit. All right, cool. Yeah, it looks like there's a few of you in there or out there right now. So I started to get it started off with a little bit of thrash with this recent bootleg that came out of the Dark Angel debut, We've Arrived. Sounds pretty killer. From a couple people that I've talked to, they said that this actually sounds better than the original vinyl pressing. But get this while you can. It's out there for like 25 bucks. Original pressings are like 300, 350 now, so it's getting ridiculous. Let's get the if anybody wants to pop up in here, you're welcome to. There's a link if anybody wants to jump in. Yeah, some of the recent boots that have been coming out are really killer. I just got the. I've really been digging this one. This is the called New York Hardest. It's Overkill and Anthrax. It's some of their demos. Yeah. Pop up in. Take your time. Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, Dark Angel are back together and doing shows again for about a year now. When I was on the Metal Roundtable, I did a show on the Metal Roundtable a couple months ago where, hey, what's up, Aaron? Where Ron Reinhardt from Dark Angel he was a guest on the show, and we interviewed him. Really cool cat, and talked quite a bit about. They're working on new material right now for the new Dark Angel album. It should be coming soon, and they're touring too. So, if you guys aren't familiar with Dark Angel, just really killer thrash. Highly recommend checking them out. Like I said, this is their debut. This is their original singer. Ron didn't come in until the third album, but he's been their singer since. Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing, man? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There it is. All right. Yeah, I had to take this stupid mic out. Where the hell's Aaron? What is he doing? Get him up here.
Yeah, you can come up here too if you want, Aaron. Anybody else that's in there if you want to pop in.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with that? Have you listened to Dark Angel before?
You know what? I'm admittedly, kind of metal ignorant. I grew up on punk rock pretty much. But for metal, I had like Anthrax and the typical stuff. I never dove too deep with it. Damn it! I gotta get this thing to stick.
Hey, what's up, Malia? How you doing?
Hey, Malia.
Yeah, I mean, all these early thrash bands. I mean, they were pretty rooted in punk. You can hear it in the drumming and.
Oh yeah, no doubt. My one of my I have like a top 5 list of bands, and like Bad Brains way up there for me. They're one of the only bands that it took like 20 years, but I put their full vinyl discography together. Like even the super rare stuff, I finally tracked it down. It's a pain in the ass, but I found it.
I saw Bad Brains. I believe it was 1995.
All right, so they were still good.
It was the they opened for the Beastie Boys, and it was
that was the
not the Communicated.
Gotta Love tour.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the Beastie Boys album was. It's Sabotage.
Yeah.
It was a Sabotage. And Bad Brains was cool because they did their set and then they came out into the audience. And man, they were in the mosh pits. They were chilling with everybody. Really? It was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are like they're definitely fans. They're not just uppity musicians at all. They're definitely fans.
Well, and they were people. I mean, Beastie Boys started as a punk band, and they were touring, and they were touring New York and New Jersey the same time that Bad Brains was hitting that area too. So they were all bands that knew each other at the time,
Would they were friends back then?
I don't know that they were friends, but they knew each other.
Yeah.
Because I saw an interview with I think it was Adam, where he talked about Bad Brains and how they met them early on when they came through New Jersey and New York.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they like opened for them or they opened for a few bands, and Bad Brains was one of them. But they talked about them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Beastie Boys were in the early '80s. They were doing the Maxes and CBGBs and a couple of the other big. What's the one in? Is it Stepdads? It's in Long Island. Anyway,
who was the when they first started out? There was a girl, when they were just like
yeah.
And she went on to I forget who she was, but she went on to play in another like somewhat a well-known band.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of her name. I always have to look it up.
I have the cassette of that. The hell is
I used to have the singles. I used to have Pollywogs 2 and Kooky Puss.
That's what it is. I got the cassette of that.
But then when they put out the album, when they put out some old bullshit, I sold those singles like an idiot.
Oh no! They're collectible now. People want them.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure they've gotten stupid in price too.
You know what? You can still find, and they actually reissued it. But you can find an original for not that bad. It's the Aglio e Olio punk album.
Kate Schellenbach, that was her name.
Oh, okay. She went on to do something else, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to open. Whenever I have StreamYard going, yeah, there you go. Malia got it up before I even said it.
Tell her to come up here. Malia, come up here.
Yeah, Malia, the link's in there if you want to come up.
Come on. She's going to say something about her makeup.
Yeah, that's right. She was in Luscious Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
I've actually got their debut album, but I never got into it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I think that was on. I'm pretty sure that was on Grand Royal too. I'm pretty sure they produced that and released it.
Yeah, they were on Grand Royal. Who else was on Grand Royal? That was doing pretty well for a while.
I know they did all of they were making all the money on Grand Royal from their own stuff. I don't even know who else was on it though.
Yeah.
I don't remember them putting out that many other bands. Let's see.
I think it was very few, but I think there was definitely a couple of. It was obviously mostly for the Beastie Boys.
Well, what band was Adam's wife was in? Was it 7 Year Bitch that she was in?
Oh no, she was the singer for.
Or was it Bikini Kill?
Yes, she was a singer for Bikini Kill.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever put out any of her stuff. Because she did some weird avant-garde bands after that too.
Yeah.
But that first Bikini Kills and the first EP is the only stuff from them that I have.
Yeah, I like that early Bikini Kill stuff. I like it a lot.
All the stuff from that era, the Bikini Kill, the 7 Year Bitch, my favorite's the Gits. If you haven't checked that out, it's worth checking out. That's the singer that got murdered after one of their shows.
Oh fuck! Wait, what?
Oh, you might be right, Malia. It might be Pussy Riot. What's that?
Were the Gits from New York?
Oh, I'm pretty sure the Gits were from Seattle.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. What happened to the singer? Got murdered after a gig?
Yeah, after one of the gigs, she was walking home. She lived a couple blocks away from the club, and she ended up getting raped and murdered on the way home.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah, Zapata. What? Man, she was so good. Their albums are 10 out of 10. They're all really good. She was they were like the next big band that was supposed to blow up out of Seattle, and she was killed.
Yeah, I never really got into them. I can't think of anything of them.
Thank you, Mia Zapata. I don't know why I couldn't get the Mia out. Yeah, they did. There's a couple really good documentaries about the band, and Joan Jett did a tour where she toured with. I believe she toured with her band, and all the money went to the family. And and their albums have gone through the roof. But man, they're all fantastic. They're really, really good. I'm trying to find them on vinyl, but the price keeps shooting up. They're like $150 a piece.
I end up, I have, thousands of records I've been collecting for 30 plus years. But I also, in the 90s when you didn't even know that there was an LP version of the CD that you just bought. But then again, a lot of those 90s LPs, they don't sound too good. And the reissues are the ones that actually sound okay. Where they cared. Hey, did you happen to see that the HR documentary? What the hell is it called? Joseph I or something?
I may have. I've seen a couple of over the years. I've seen a couple of the Bad Brains documentaries. Yeah.
Did you ever hear Daryl, bass player, other band Stealth?
No.
They were like this kind of, this almost, the hip hop metal thing that unfortunately came through for a few years.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but they played at this small club in Rhode Island, and I went and saw them, and I sat with Daryl, and we drank Budweiser from stop to sit all night. That was a good night.
Like I said, they're a cool band. I mean, they were out in the audience with us. They were taking pictures, saying hey to everybody, and the whole band was, And it's before HR started really having his health issues and stuff, so he was out there. Hey Malia, this is Dark Angel. This is their first album. This is a bootleg of it that just came out within the last couple of weeks.
It looks like a Japanese pressing. Is that like an Obi?
Yeah, this label is called Metal Mania. All of their bootlegs have an Obi on the side. It's not. I think it's an Italian company if I remember correctly, but they make it look Japanese and they all have an Obi on them.
it definitely, it sounds quality. It doesn't sound like a shit beat, you know?
What's that?
It doesn't sound like a shitty bootleg.
No, it sounds really. I was really surprised how good it was.
Yeah. What is my mic fucking up?
Yeah, it's like it's crackling a little bit. Does anybody else hear it?
Is it any better or still hearing it?
It's still cracked. It still crackles a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
That's all right.
That's so irritating to you. You know, these earbuds shit the bed. I got a new pair, you know, on the way. I refuse to spend like, you know, $100, $200 on earbuds. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, mine are. I got the Apple one somewhere. I don't. The mic on this Mac works pretty good. I don't have anything hooked, a mic or anything hooked up to it.
You know what? I'll just. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, it's actually a lot louder.
Oh, okay. So it's better then. All right. Yeah, all right. I'm just using the external mic then. Getting rid of the earbuds, because I don't need them.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Yeah,
As you back up, though, it gets quieter.
I'll get real close.
They got some cheap mics that you can get. Like I said, I've never had to use them. All the my MacBook that I had before this and now this Mac have pretty good audio on them, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I'm on my my iPad. I use it for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife bought me a really nice iPad and it just sits next to my bed. I read books on it.
Oh.
Basically a $400
Yeah.
book. Let me change the album.
Cool.
Trying to play something different than what everybody else plays on their live streams.
Yeah, what is it?
It's the same. It's the
Okay.
B side. It's the other
Okay.
side of it.
I like it. They're a good band. They're tight. They can play.
Oh yeah. One, Gene Hoglan, the drummer. I mean, a lot of people consider him one of the best drummers of all time.
What's his name?
Gene Hoglan.
Who else? Has he played with anyone else?
Oh man. So he's played with Testament, Strapping Young Lad, Fear Factory.
Oh, okay.
He's one of those guys that they'll bring into the studio. For metal bands will bring him into the studio and he'll record their studio album, and then their regular drummer will go on tour with him.
Right.
I mean, it's insane the number of albums he's been on.
Lombardo does that a lot. Plays on
So Gene Hoglan started out as Lombardo's drum tech.
Oh, really? Okay. That
Yeah,
makes
and he's
sense.
actually,
That makes total sense.
I think he's actually surpassed Lombard. Actually, I saw Testament a couple years ago. Oh yeah, I forgot he was in Death too. Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's a big deal.
So I saw Testament a few years ago, right before the pandemic, with Gene Hoglan, and it was amazing. And then I saw him right after with Lombardo on drums, because Gene Hoglan left so that he could do Dark Angel again. And unfortunately, Lombardo just doesn't hold a candle to Gene Hoglan at this point. I think a lot of it's age. I mean, Lombardo's in his 60s now, you know.
But a lot of the, you know, like the punk rock drummers, like especially, you know, like the people, like the Fat Records bands.
Yeah.
That all sound the same, but they play so fast. A lot of them say they just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like even like when, you know, I've played out for a lot. I played in bands and, you know, done the tour thing and stuff. And Like I think back to like when I was in my 20s, like like the downstroke.
Yeah.
My downstroke has slowed down and turned into like an alternate picking, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm shocked that like I just saw Megadeth a couple months ago, and I can't believe that Mustaine can still downpick that fast like he used
God,
to.
yeah.
And I watched him too. I watched him to see if he was just down picking or if he was doing down and up. But no, he was down picking for most of it. It blew me away.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a certain sound and feel to the down picking that you can't beat. Who always did the alternate thing, but it sounded like down picking is Dr. No, Bad Brain.
Yeah.
He's obviously an amazing player. The whole band, they can play. And have you ever like on the Gotta Love album, the harmonies that HR did they're insane. They're like these 5-6 part layered harmonies, and I don't think he doesn't know music. He's just hearing it and doing it, and it's just really impressive to have that natural ability in you. But that's why I love those guys so much. They just and they were one of the first. That really did it.
Yeah, a lot of those guys from the '80s taught themselves. Mustaine talks about it. He pretty much taught himself, and then learned the musical theory way later. Alex Skolnick from Testament's like that. He did take some lessons, but after their third or fourth album, he went to the New York Conservatory and actually learned how to play. Hey, Aaron, that's cool that you got to meet Chuck, man. I never got to meet him. By the time they were touring in my area, I had already moved to Japan, so I missed that. But man, Spiritual Healing, from that album on, I just love. Actually, I love the first album too, but it really started with Spiritual Healing. But yeah, I've seen Gene a couple times. So I saw him with Fear Factory, I saw him with Testament, and man, he is always they call him the human clock or the atomic clock. That's what they call him. And he's funny. He's the first drummer that I ever saw that barely moves. When you watch him, he's playing these crazy fills, and his chord doesn't move at all, and he doesn't do the crazy up here. It's all hurt, and man, it's amazing to watch him.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he used to be 400 pounds. And the big joke was he got so fat from eating all the drummers and stealing their power,
Yeah, right.
But yeah, dude, I mean, he's an amazing guy. But he's been in so many bands, dude. But yeah, the Death. I don't know. Did you ever see that show, Deathlock?
Oh yeah, I love it. I have the Deathlock.
So he was the drummer in Deathlock too.
Oh, okay, all right. Because Deathlock, that is some technical shit. Man,
yeah.
Who's the main guy? I forget his name that played guitar and sang for Deathlock. What the hell is his name? Well, anyway. I missed that show. It's on occasionally on Adult Swim.
I never watched it. I missed all that. I missed all of that stuff. Who's that? Nathan Explosion is the vocals. Who is that actually? I'm trying to see who it is.
The way that they interacted with each other and their backstories are so funny. I can't remember their names, but I was really into them. I don't remember Toki. Toki was the guitar player.
Yeah, the rhythm guitarist, yeah.
Yep. And who was the drummer that's going bald with the dreadlocks? Hey, did you ever see the that video where they have Lombardo and they're playing like I think Angel of Death, and they have Bostaph. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Paul Bostaph.
Yeah, Bostaph. And they put them right next to each other, and they put the video next to each other. And Lombardo had like this almost like a swing almost feel to him, where Bostaph is like so on the beat. And you know, both of them work, but when I hear, you know, Slayer, they have that feel that, you know, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I saw him twice with I saw him right when Bostaph joined the band. So was it like 95? I think he joined in like 93 or 94. But I saw them, and I was disappointed. He sounded good, but like all the crazy fills that Lombardo does, he couldn't do them. So he would like skip drums and stuff. And on songs like, especially on Seasons in the Abyss, it just didn't sound right with it because it's got those killer drum fills, you know. And yeah, he just couldn't pull them off. He sounded good, and like the song Gemini that he wrote with him, which is still a technical song, sounds killer. But all the real technical Lombardo stuff, he couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, Lombardo, man, he's so good. I've seen Slayer twice too, and it was in, you know, like it was in smaller clubs. And one of the times I saw them, walked into the club and it was just pitch dark. I mean, you could not see your hand in front of your face. They set like a move really well. And then the stage, like these red, they didn't have any kind of opener or anything. The stage just turned like red. It was a creepy, you know.
Yeah.
It was great. And then, you know, you always hear, and they start with a ch-ch-ch. And you hear that, you know, ch-ch-ch.
Yeah, I never saw him in a small club. I've only seen him, like I saw him at the first Ozfest. And then every time I've seen him, it's always been a big four with like 2 or 3 other big bands. I saw him on their farewell tour, which sucked because Hanneman was already passed and Lombardo was out of the band again. And that was a huge production. I mean, that was insane. And that was a killer show. That was Testament, Anthrax, and Slayer. And man, it was killer.
Did you see the Pantera, Slayer, and I think it was like Napalm Death maybe, and Static X? I know it was Pantera, Slayer, and Static X. There was someone else in there. That tour was insane. It was so good, and I'm so glad I got to
see. By the time all those bands came out, I was living in Japan, so I didn't see any of those. I did see Static X in like 2005 or 2006 when I moved back to the U.S. I saw them at one of the Ozfest.
Yeah,
and they were actually really good. I was never a big a fan of them, but their live show was really good. Yeah, I forgot about that. So Aaron mentioned that he played for Mr. Bungle. He also, Lombardo, also did a couple albums with Suicidal Tendencies. He's touring with the Misfits now when they do Misfits shows. He's doing those.
Oh, that's right.
So he's still doing a bunch of stuff, but yeah. And he might have gotten better with Testament. So when I saw him with Testament last year, that was only like his 3rd show back with Testament. Yeah. So he just might not have been in the groove yet, but you could tell he was a little bit off for that whole show.
Yeah. I saw Mr. Bungle at the same club, a medium-sized club in Rhode Island. And Mr. Bungle, my friend brought me. He's like, "You gotta go to the show," and I was like, because you know I have what's the record with the lady's face and there's like a bug or something like around her eye?
I don't know. I never got into Mr. Bungle.
I didn't either, but I had that record. But seeing them live, it was like the fact that they put all that shit together,
Yeah.
and they don't have like. I think they would have had like like music stands, and music in front of them to remember all those things and shit. And Mike Patton had like 5 or 6 microphones that he used for different. It was an impressive show. I'm glad I saw it.
Mike Patton's a weird dude, man. I just never got into him.
Yeah, me neither.
I remember seeing Faith No More years ago. And it's funny because Mike Gordon is one of my all-time favorite drummers. But, man, I never got into even Faith No More. That song Epic, I remember that was huge, and I liked that song. Dude. But then I bought the album and didn't really like the album. And everybody was like, oh, you're going to love it. Get Album of the Year and Angel Dust. So I got those. I didn't like either of those. So...
Yeah, they never really did. I mean, I have that first the white cover that just, I don't think...
We Care a Lot?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That's a different singer, though.
Yeah, it is. What's the... Wait, was Patton on... What's the album that started with that song From Out of Nowhere? I think it might have been their first or second album. Who was the original singer, and did he sing? How many albums was he on before Patton was in?
I think it was just the first album, because I think the second album was the one with Epic on it.
Yeah. I
can't even think of the...
That album, I wanted to like it so bad, but no, just didn't connect.
Yeah, like I said, I when they first came out, I really liked Faith No More, and like even Epic. A lot of people didn't like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, I thought it was great. It was a great sound.
But then I just, with each album, I liked each album less and less. There's a lot of bands like that, though.
Yeah, that's like, I was talking to Stunty about 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And I kind of bailed on them after the Downward Spiral, the second album. But I saw them on the... it was actually at a Lollapalooza, maybe the first Lollapalooza. It was for the Pretty Hate Machine tour. When the dude... Yeah.
No, keep talking. I can hear you. I'm just going to put something else on.
And the dude from Filter was...
yeah.
Still with them at that point. And Stunty and I were talking about how both of us just kind of bailed after Downward Spiral. And they put out so many albums.
Yeah, I liked a couple of the albums after that, but that was really the end for me.
Yeah, and the stuff that Trent is doing now with what's his name?
Atticus.
Yeah, I was gonna say Phineas.
Yeah, I think it's Atticus Ross.
Yeah, I watched the live thing that they did in that small. It looked like like someone, I don't know, someone's like downstairs, like in his basement almost. And it was Trent Reznor and the Atticus team. They did a live thing. I think they actually might have recorded the live performance and put it out. But I mean, you gotta be on your game to do an album live like that. Instead of multi-tracking it.
Hey, what's up, Randy? How you doing?
Hey, Randy.
Well, this one is this just came out a couple weeks ago. This is Kingmaker from Screamer.
Oh, is that signed?
Yeah, I ordered it from the band directly. Yeah, Malia, Ministry, I really liked Ministry early on. I liked their first few albums, and then, what's his name got pretty. I mean, he was always a weird cat, but he got super crazy for a while. The heroin got him, and he went nuts for a while there.
I liked them up to Psalm 69 pretty much. Their early stuff, like the almost synth-pop stuff.
Yeah, I've got that first album. I never listened to it though.
What's the one with the girl's hand on the cover?
Yeah, I think that's the only one that they did like that.
Actually, John gave me a copy of that. I didn't have it, and I like it.
No, it's really good.
It's interesting how they went from that to, what changed, what, and was it good,
With Sympathy, that's what it's called.
Yes, that's it. And then the next one, I think, was the Land of Rape and Honey, right?
No, then they did Twitch.
Oh,
and then the Land of Rape and Honey, and then Mine Is a Terrible Thing to Taste, which is my favorite.
Yeah, mine too. I love it. That's one of those records I have multiple copies of.
I never listened to. I have Psalm 69, or I can't remember what the album's actually called. It's got the weird the Cyrillic like symbols and stuff, but that album I loved it when it came out, but I never listened to it now.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that forever.
And it's the same thing with the Nine Inch Nails. I love their first few albums. The Sin EP is my favorite. That's the only one I really listen to anymore. Or Broken, I'm sorry, the Broken EP. And I've got some singles from the Downward Spiral. But Reptile was my favorite song on there, and it never got real big. It never got radio play.
Yeah. You know what sound really good are those the Pantera Rhino reissues.
I had the opposite, so I bought one, or I bought two of them. I bought the first two albums, and both of mine didn't sound good at all. They had like pops and stuff. I've got the box set now. I bought the box set when it came out, and it sounds pretty good. It's not great.
I bought the what's the one with the band cover?
Far Beyond Driven?
Yeah. That one, they put out first, there was a German press of that with 245 RPM, and then Rhino did one of 233 RPM, but I sent it to Patrick, and he ripped it, and it sounds absolutely amazing. It might have been like different pressings at different times, but
honestly, it may have just, at the time I was using a Spin Clean to clean my records. I didn't have like Ultrasonic yet, so it could have just been that Spin Clean wasn't cleaning them good, but they did that box set, and the thing I like about the box set is, so when Rhino redid them, they put everything on double vinyl, whereas on the box set, it's back on single LPs. And
that's weird. Sometimes the single LP sounds better than the spread out one. You never know.
Yeah, and the originals, I used to have originals of the first two albums, and they were so much money. They didn't sound that good, so I sold them for a profit. And then, those even that box set's like $400 now, and it was like a $99 box set.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go see them?
What's that?
Are you gonna go see them?
No, I don't think so. Are you?
Yeah, I just bought tickets for September.
Who else is playing?
I'd have to look. I think it's what's that other what did they call it? Lamb of God is playing, which I can't stand Lamb of God.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I've been to like 10 shows where they're there, and I've never liked that band.
Dude, they end up on so many bills.
I'm trying to think. There's another band too. I don't remember who it is. I'm looking, but I know it's Lamb of God. Like when I saw Slayer with Testament and them, Lamb of God was there too, and that Lamb of God was the second headliner, so they got a bigger a better or a longer set than Anthrax or Testament, which made no sense to me.
You know, the thing is, the interviews that I've heard with the singer, I like the dude. You know, he seems like a good dude. But then, you know, I wish the music was better. I have a really good friend, and he came over the other day, and he got in his car, and he's playing this music. I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, Lamb of God. I'm like, well, what? What are you talking? Because he doesn't listen to shit like that at all. He loves them now. And I heard the whole album, you know, like maybe a week ago. And yeah. The production for it it's a bit too smooth too. The four of them.
I just never liked that. I think that they sound like a metalcore band to me. Everybody tells me they're not.
No,
I don't. They just sound like every other metalcore band from that period. Yeah, I love Fifth Angel, Malia. I actually just got one of. I just got a signed drumstick from the drummer from Fifth Angel not too long ago. What were you saying, Nick?
I don't remember. Sorry.
But yeah, I
got a new pen today.
I remember when they came in, or when they first came out, I kind of liked their sound, but it was very short-lived. I bought their CD, and after like 3 or 4 listens, I never listened to it again. I felt the same way. There was a whole slew of bands like Chimera came out about the same time.
Yeah.
Felt the same way about them. I really liked them at first, and then just didn't get into them. There was that period. There was a lot of bands. You know, Slipknot was the same way.
Yeah, you know what? They were obviously a good band. They can play, and I liked what they did. That it was a good kind of gimmick. You know, it obviously worked, but yeah, I didn't like it. You know what shocked me was I saw a show. It was a recent show, like within the last couple of years, of Limp Bizkit still playing in front of this huge, enormous crowd. And what's his name? Fred Durst there is wearing some stupid outfit with the, you know, with a wig and what a fool, man. I don't feel it.
He's still making money, man. People are, you know, everybody says they hate him. But man, when you see the scenes from those festivals with 50,000 people going crazy to his music, you know.
It's so cheesy to me. I can't do it.
I thought they were pretty interesting when they came out, their first album. Yeah, before they added the hip hop and stuff. On that first album, when they...
I didn't hear the early stuff.
They did a reissue, or they did a cover version of Faith from George Michael, like a metal version of it.
I remember that.
And Counterfeit with some cool songs, but then on like the second album, they tried to add hip hop to it and just lost everybody. And what's crazy is Wes Borland, their guitar player, is actually an amazing guitar player.
Yeah, he is.
When you hear stuff that he's done with other people, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a character too. He always does the makeup, and I mean, even to this day, like an alien.
There were a few of his outfits in a. Well, I played at a Hard Rock Cafe. Oh, it was Hard Rock Cafe in Las Vegas. I had a gig there, and there were all these, you know, all the outfits of people with like a Freddie Mercury, and there were like 2 or 3 West Borland outfits. Like, wow, you made it into the Hard Rock Cafe. I guess that's not a Hall of Fame.
Well, they got 100,000 of them, so they got to have stuff from somebody, you know.
I think there's I was thinking House of Blues, but yeah, how long were you in Japan? I went there twice and toured. We did a tour with Melt Banana over there. And Japan is one of the most awesome places I've ever been in my life. I love it, love it, love it. the culture, the people,
Oh yeah,
everything about it is like it almost makes you embarrassed to be a dirty American.
I loved it there. If I tried for years to get a government contract there so I could go back as a civilian, but I was there from '97 to 2005,
Yeah.
and we loved it there. It was a blast. I mean, the music scene there. The
Oh,
music
it's so
scene there is
good.
like the music scene in New York or LA. There's always killer bands playing
Yeah.
somewhere,
So
and
good.
and the fans there. I mean, when you go to a metal show, it could be a band that gets like 50 people here in the U.S. and they'll have
Yeah.
10,000 people at the show,
Yeah.
and they have a huge music scene, and they're collecting. The record stores there are really killer. I mean, even in the '90s,
Oh,
they don't. They have like HMV, like the big record stores.
yeah.
But then every little city has like specialty stores. So
Yeah.
I remember we used to go to Yokohama, and the big HMV was there, but right around the corner in a little alley, there was a store that was just metal bootlegs, and it was all vinyl, cassette, CD, video of just bootleg shows. And then in
Yeah.
the same building, a couple floors up, they had an all metal, just your regular metal, but it's like obscure stuff that you never see here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And
They're-
I mean,
they're
it was killer.
so-
And every city has specialty shops. So if you're into jazz, you go into these jazz shops, and you're talking everything from $10 up to $10,000 records.
Yeah.
It's and they're all in perfect condition.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah, it's crazy. I had a bunch of old original impulse first pressings of like the Coltrane, Hartman album
Yeah.
and stuff, and I have them all on Discog, and this guy from Japan got in touch with me, and we figured out a deal, and he bought like 10 original old jazz sessions from me, and that ain't cheap, and
They'll
it
pay
was,
big money too.
yeah, and he was willing to pay it,
Yeah.
I obviously, we worked out a lower price than if you bought them separately, but yeah, I put this big box together and shipped it over to Japan, but when I was in Japan or Europe, I would bring one of those, the SKD DJ record cases, those hard shell record cases.
Yeah.
And I'd bring one of those, and I'd fill it up, and then I'd have to start sending records home, so that when I got home, it would be
Dude, I spent so when I was DJing at the time too. I was a club DJ.
oh, nice.
And so it was all CDs. All the clubs were CDs at this point by
Yeah.
'97. I started in '98 actually, but so I had cases of CDs. But I kick myself now because back then I was buying CDs as a DJ, and I had to be able to take them with me. So I had them in the books that hold 1,000.
Yeah,
And I had 10 of those that I had to bring with me everywhere.
yeah,
And man, I threw away the cases just because they were piling up. So
yeah.
I had a bunch and I ended up selling them for cheap because I didn't have the back cases. But I had so many Japanese pressings because the Japanese pressings were cool because they'd have all the B-sides
Yeah.
from the singles on them. And
Even
man,
the
a lot of
CDs
those
the
are
oldies.
like $30-$40 CDs now.
Yeah,
That are
Yeah.
the one that really makes me mad is they did that the Misfits Coffin Box. Do you remember that?
yeah,
Back
I
in
do.
the '90s.
Yeah.
So I had the Japanese version of that, and I threw the box away, and it's worth
no.
$300 or $400 now.
Oh,
I still have the CDs,
Yeah.
but oh man, I kick myself for that stuff now. And I was a
I
collector
have-
then too, but I wasn't. It was just CDs for work, and I wasn't thinking about it that way.
Yeah, you don't think about I have 2 huge books, and I don't know where the cases are, but I a couple months ago I bought 150 CDs they were $1 each, and I mean they're good titles. The box, let me grab the box. I'll show you some of what I grabbed. these were all, you know, $1. And like this is like a CD that people like. This is a desirable CD. The Public Image Limited, Happy, and you know, it's like Etta James, B Love, you know, them, and you know, I listen to CDs. I'm not only vinyl guys, but
I got CDs all around me. They're everywhere.
yeah.
I got cassettes. I got everything.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want the music, you know.
I will say I'm getting rid of a lot of the CDs now. Like if I already have it on vinyl, I'm getting rid of the CD because I'm not going to listen to it. You know, I work from here, so I'm in this room 10 hours a day. So I literally have records playing all day long. The only time I listen to CDs is in my truck, and since I'm not driving to and from the city anymore, I don't listen to it as much as I used to.
Yeah, I don't listen to CDs that much. You know, I have a nice, you know, DAC, and I have an old, like Sony, whatever that I use to transport into this older Adcom DAC that I, you know, has a whole bunch of crazy upgrades in it. I can't tell if I can hear a difference, you know. It sounds really nice, but you know, I'd rather spin a record.
Yeah.
But you know, there's all this talk about CDs. They're coming back. You know, the loop is going to happen. And I'm not too sure about that. Like, are there different pressings of CDs? Like in the, you know.
There's definitely. I mean, when you start talking about the like the real early stuff. So this is made in Germany in the mid '80s, and these things sound fantastic.
Nice.
But these are all uncompressed, so they were direct transfers from the tape masters to CD.
Oh,
this
nice.
one was like
brick wall, huh?
Yeah, this one was like '85 when this one came out. But and I collect
dynamics.
I love these. So I've got a bunch of the see if I can find some good ones, like the Target CDs. I don't know if you've seen those. They've got the Target one.
No, I haven't seen that.
Sorry, I gotta. And again, these are all. Most of them were made in Japan and Germany for the U.S. market. So they all say made in Japan across the bottom here, or made in West Germany across the bottom.
Yeah.
But they're all uncompressed and they're from the masters.
The wall hadn't come down yet, huh?
So no. Actually, I was there at the time.
But you were in Germany when the wall came down?
No, before.
Oh, okay. You know, I have like old stock tubes. You know, some of them are say like EI tubes, like made in, you know, West Germany, made in East Germany. And,
hey, Sam. Yeah, I lived there when it was West Germany still.
How is there a reason you lived all over the place? Was it just because you could, you wanted to?
No, my dad was in the military, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
This was 80, 85, 86 when we went there, so I was still pretty young.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got quite a few of I love the Target CDs, but I've got quite a few. So.
Easy Top. You know what? Darren.
Kraftwerk. I mean, I've got a bunch.
Kraftwerk, nice.
I've got a couple of the Zeppelins, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
But yeah, any of those early CDs sound really good.
Yeah, they really do. Like I got like an anniversary edition CD of Raining Blood. It was awful, absolutely awful.
A lot of them are so loud. Yeah, words. The Target CDs are hit or miss. I find the ones that were done in Japan sound better than the ones that were done in Germany.
Yeah.
And then, so they have the non-Targets from Japan, that are from the same era, but they don't have the target on them. A lot of those sound really good. Like I have a couple of the Styx ones that were done in like '85 in Japan, and they blow away any of the record or the vinyl presses that I've heard of those same Styx albums. But again, it's hit or miss, and a lot of these I bought just because they were Target CDs, and again, I never listened to it. So some of this stuff, the non-metal stuff, I'll probably end up getting rid of. But just because I'm running out of room, I just had to take out 3 CD shelves so I could put more record shelves in here because I'm just overflowing. I mean, you can see behind me, it's just all, I've got like stacks all the way behind me.
If you work at home, you must be able to just spin records all day. So you
yeah.
You know,
I listen to a good 5 or 6 records a day, easy.
Wow, that's awesome. See, I only get a chance like maybe, 2 or 3 every, a few times a week.
Yeah.
But I have like a stack of records I haven't listened to, probably 50, 60.
Oh no, there's probably 500 behind me that I haven't listened to. Hey, Words, the easiest way to tell the Target CDs and even the non-Targets, all the CDs through like 86 is, I don't know if you can see it, they have a smooth side on the disc. It doesn't have the little perforations. So here's a later one. It's got the perforations on it. And you can see that it's kind of, here, let me, here. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's a smooth side on the CDs. So what I do when I used to go to thrift stores and whatnot is I would just look through the top and look for the smooth sides, and you can see pretty much all of them have that smooth side on them, and that's the easiest way to tell.
Oh yeah, I mean these are all. Mine are obviously US. Have you heard a real difference between besides the brick walling, if there's like a German CD versus a Japanese, I've never checked out like the differences between like a UK or German or Japanese CD, but I assume they sound different. Some sound better.
The US CDs usually sound the worst because they later on because they jack the volume way up. Like if you listen to newer CDs in the US, the dynamics are killed because they have all the levels so high. The Japanese CDs don't usually do that. The Japanese CDs are a lot more expensive though. They're better quality, but the modern mastering in Japan is pretty good, but the older mastering, they took a lot of the bass out of it. And I have a feeling, because when I lived in Japan, the walls are thin. And I have a feeling that's why they rolled off the bass. So any of the older records from Japan have really shitty bass, their bass is rolled off. Hey Sam, I'm rolling, for the cart, I have the 540 ML in there right now. The VM540 ML from AT.
Oh, nice.
And then so I also have a VM760, which is a Shibata, that I haven't put on the turntable yet. The first one I ordered had a really, really bad hum, and it was coming from the cartridge. I swapped out the head shell, so I'm looking forward to hearing this.
This is some of my head shell collection of cartridges. You know what cartridge I really like is the Stanton, the 681 Triple E. And the LT Gear stylus. Are you familiar with those? The Vivid line, the micro line that you get.
Yeah, that's what. The VM540. This is a micro line we're listening to right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound. All records don't sound good with the VM because it goes so deep into the groove.
Yeah.
that it distorts on, like for instance, the new Blind Guardian. On this album, it distorts really bad with the micro line. However, when I played it with Nagaoka, the MP200, it sounded really good, and it sits higher up in the groove.
That's the .3 elliptical. Yeah. I'm using a Denon DL103 right now that has just like a spherical, and it blows my mind how.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
How detailed like a spherical can sound. Because I have Shibatas, I have microlines, I have this is a really cool cartridge. It's a Yamaha an MC1S. This has I believe this is a hyper elliptical, which is basically on microline, and this is a moving coil, so you need the step up. But this cartridge sounds amazing. Do you do the moving coil thing at all?
No.
With the MM?
No, I stick with the moving magnet. My receiver doesn't have moving coil on it.
Yeah.
And I love the sound of my receiver. I like it better than most of the phono stages that I've heard. Some more of the recent ones. But hey, Sam. I actually, so when I bought this one, the 760 SL, I was really close to buying the Ortophone Black. They've got the Ortophone Black, what is it? No, the black, the Beethoven model of the Black.
Oh, yeah, the new one.
Yeah, and it sounds, so I went to one of my local record stores, has both of them. And so on his tube system, he had the Beethoven set up, and it sounded really good. But then he popped on this one, and this one's like $200 cheaper, and I thought it sounded just a tiny bit better. I got a deal. So when I bought my new turntable, I got this for a couple $100 off, because these are like $700 new.
What are you using a Riga?
No, it's the SL 1200 TR.
Oh, okay. You know what? I have my main table is a 1200 M3D, which it basically turned into the Mark V. They didn't make many of the M3Ds. And I've done so many upgrades to it through that company's AAB.
Yeah.
And I got a hold of a GR, and I put them, right next to each other, same cartridge and everything. And I think all the upgrades I did to it brought it up to a level that sounded as good as the GR. And I just, I was gonna buy the GR, but I just couldn't do it because the sound was just.
I think the biggest difference for the GR is the weight of the platter. The platter's heavier, and if you go, I did a video a couple months ago where I compared the two, and you can really hear. I mean, I was shocked how big of a difference it was between because I've had a Mark II for years. I had Mark Vs when I was in Japan when I was DJing. Yeah, and that's what I used in Japan. But I switched over to the Mark II like 5 or 6 years ago. I got one for like $300. Yeah, and I used that for I'd say 3 or 4. I used that for like 7 years. So I bought that in like 2014 or 2015, and I used that for years, and I was happy with it. But what's funny is I was talking to Ron Beaudry, and we were talking about Analog Productions pressings, and I was like, I like the Analog Production stuff, but I don't like. I think the highs are too high. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. They sound amazing to me. They're not too high for me at all. It turns out it was my turntable, because when I switched to the GR. Now all of the Analog Production stuff sounds perfect. So for some reason,
oh, nice.
And I don't know if it was because I had to switch the RCAs because the RCAs went bad on the Mark III.
Yeah,
and I did the upgrade, and I don't know if it threw off the dynamics or what. And I never noticed it until I did the comparison, and it's like a night and day difference.
Well, you know what? Also the BTA, when you raise or lower the tone on that.
Well, yeah.
Not, like when it's when it's up higher, it gets the higher tone down like that. It brings the lower out. You gotta find the.
Yeah, the Nagaokas are real sensitive to that. I think that's the most sensitive parts that I've ever had. Was if the VTA is a little bit off, they sound terrible. Sam, I've never been a fan of the Ortophone cartridges. I've always thought that they were for the same price. I've always thought the ATs, the analog or the Audio Technicas, were a little bit better.
Yeah.
But that black sounded really good. I was really blown away. But it wasn't so much different from the 760 that it was worth the extra hundreds of dollars, Yeah. And plus, again, I was listening to he was demoing it on a tube system, so it would have sounded totally different on my Pioneer system. So
yeah, you know what's crazy is I have I have two mono blocks, a couple Quicksilvers, a tube preamp, and a tube phono preamp. So I have a full tube system, but I got a hold of an old Marantz, just a 20 watt, 22 0B, whatever, one of those 70s turbo. Did a full refurbish, like from top to bottom, and I have Tecton Pendragon speakers, and they're pretty high sensitivity. So the 20 watts goes pretty far with them, and it's solid state instead of the tubes. But it has this crazy, beautiful warmth and mid-range, especially with the tube phono preamp. I'm using a Tavish, phono pre, and I have my tube system is sitting in the corner, and it has been for a while. There's something about the, it also has some kind of like a little harder punch, obviously the solid.
I like the sound of tubes. I can't run them though. I listen to, like I said, I'm listening like 8 hours a day, and tubes just don't hold up like that.
Oh that's not.
You can't listen to music as much as I do.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably eventually, dumb it down a little bit. I'm gonna probably build one of those first watt, amplifiers that put like 25 watts, the solid state. And there's this company out of Canada called Maple Tree Audio that makes these beautiful hand-wired tube preamps. And the tube preamp and the solid state amp, that is such a good combo. It works.
Check out, have you checked out Rogue Audio?
Yeah.
So Rogue is a really good price, and all of their they have an amp that's like that. It's a tube free and solid state. The amp itself is solid state, and man, that thing sounds great. And it's like $1,000. And
it's the what the hell? I know which one it is. I know what you're talking about.
Is it the Raven or the Blackbird or something like that?
Something like that. I think it might even be Class D with tubes in the input in the pre.
And they do make a full tube though. But I know Vance. That's what Vance runs, and I know a few other people that run them, and they really sound fantastic. But I tell you what, I've had this Pioneer for. I mean, it was my dad's back in he bought it in '81, and it was $1,000 receiver in '81, and I've had it refurbished twice. Yeah. And so last year, the left channel went out on it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend money and buy a really nice receiver. And it was like a $3,000 Arkham, which had all these reviews about how amazing it was. Yeah. And I plugged it in, and it sounded completely flat. And I know you got to burn them in,
No.
But the problem was, it was 150 watts, and it wasn't driving my speakers. And
really?
Yeah, I have
speakers.
It's Boston Acoustics, and it. Okay. I mean, I was getting no power to the speakers, whereas with my Pioneer, which is 80 watts per channel, I mean, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's all about the power supply. It has, wattage.
Well, and it's crazy. I mean, it had all these awards for best amp under $20,000, and Like everybody's doing these. Like I saw all these reviews on YouTube, all the talking heads, about how great it was.
Yeah.
I was like, really? I mean, and then I started reading some stuff later on where like guys were like, "Oh, well, it sounds really good if you buy an aftermarket phono stage. It's $1,500." I was like, "Yeah, you guys are ridiculous."
Yeah, come on,
I went to the local shop and I dropped off my Pioneer. I took that back, and that's when I ended up buying the turntable because I wanted to upgrade something. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that Pioneer turntable or that Pioneer receiver, I love it.
Yeah, I have another receiver that I refurbished. You know what? I'd pick it up and show you, but it weighs a million pounds.
Don't worry. Yeah, mine's it's like 60 pounds. My Pioneer.
Yeah. I have it's a Hitachi HA610. It has 2 phono stages, and you can dial in like the gaming with it. It's not like one of those courtesy phono stages by any means. And when I redid it with all the best quality parts available, especially in the phono stage. And I put it in my system, and it was I think it's like 80 or 70 watts or something per channel, and it just sounded kind of thin. It didn't have to think in the Marantz. I put it right back in. There's something about that old Marantz that just it works. It's so weird when you think you gotta spend like thousands and thousands of dollars on gear, and
I never. So one of my buddies here in town is a really big gearhead. He's got like 15 receivers and a bunch of speakers, and I mean it's insane. I mean he's got everything from a couple $100 Marantzes all the way up to like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. What's the ones with the green or the blue lights?
Macintosh.
Yeah, he's got some of the real high end Macintosh monoblocks and stuff, and it sounds cool, but it doesn't really do it for me. I've had and he's always trying to sell me stuff. Oh, I got this Marantz. I'll hook you up. Only $400. I was like, man, and none of them. Very few of them sound as good as my Pioneer. Sam, I just put it in there. It's the SX D5000. They made a D7000 too. It's exactly the same, but it's 100 watts per channel. But man, the 80 watts per channel. If I crank it up, you can hear it 5 houses down. But they rated wattage different back then. You can get a 200 watt now that doesn't put out half the power that this 80 watt does.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But man, and this was the SXD series was the last all analog series that Pioneer had. Everything after that had chips in it. So. I don't think I know the SX1280.
Oh, that's a legendary Pioneer. That's like the.
Oh yeah, I do know that one. I'm wrong.
Switches on it. You probably know it.
Yeah, the only issue with my Pioneer, they were going for like a more futuristic look, so they're not as pretty as the older. Like I love the older ones with the feeler gauges and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But I tell you what, the D5000 and the D7000 sound just as good as a lot of those. But they were going for this more modern look, and it doesn't look as cool as the other ones do. So
yeah, no doubt.
But all right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I got to. The wife is home, and I can.
Yeah, I got to get going
downstairs.
too.
I'm going to go to dinner.
All right, man.
I'm going to try to get this going pretty regularly. I've already talked to Scott and a couple of other people about coming on and doing some stuff. So,
I wish
you'll hear more about it
for your metal talk.
Yeah. So something different, Everybody touches on metal a little bit, but nobody is playing a lot of metal. Patrick does pretty good, but
John is good with metal too.
Yeah. I love John. I love this stuff with John.
John is awesome. He and I have, sent each other some good records.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got some great stuff.
He's a good guy, and
I've been talking to him for 6 or 7 years now at this point. So
yeah, he's good people. And Fred, too. We've sent each other some VCLT. I was for my Bad Brains collection. Are we offline?
no.
Oh, okay. There were only 2 records I needed, and one of them was the Bad Brains dub, and he sent it to me. I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" It came out like 20 years ago, and I just, I like to find certain things in the wild. I don't want to do the Discogs thing, and he sent it to me, and I'm just really appreciative of that. A lot of good people, and Aaron.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
And everyone that hangs out over at Aaron's, such good people.
Well, you're always welcome to come up, Nick. I appreciate it, man.
All right, cool, Steve. Good chat, man.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Later, man.